Lauer podcast. We got a special guest today. We have Andrew Waters with CrossFit Strongheart joining us. Thanks for joining us today, Andrew.
What's up, Tim?
Nothing much. So go ahead, let's take a minute and kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I own a boutique fitness gym, a CrossFit gym. So we specialize in CrossFit group fitness. This January will be our 10-year anniversary since we've opened up in Foley. We're in our third location, but I've been doing this for quite a while. Been doing CrossFit for a little bit longer than I've had the gym, obviously. But yeah, that's about it, man. That's all we do. Personal training, group training, personal programming, remote programming. So we work with people all over the country.
Cool.
And for the most part, we have a really tight-knit community there at the gym here in Foley.
Awesome. So before, and I just said, I was going to say, before me and Andrew were in a Toastmasters group together, and we would count filler words like and everything. So just to let you know, in the first 30 seconds, you had 7 Andrews.
Really?
Just
you counted me already?
I did.
Yeah, I'm failing.
You brought it up, so I was like, let me go ahead
we gotta get Toastmasters going back again.
That's right. Toastmasters was a lot of fun. And we'll probably touch about Toastmasters a little bit later, but what is it that got you into CrossFit? How did you get started in CrossFit?
Well, I've always, just like I think most people, you want to try to be the best version of yourself that you can be, and fitness comes into play there, right? For most people, they have this idea of like, when I finally get to the person that I'm trying to become. So I've worked out, I've done a lot of different styles of training, experimented around with like some bodybuilding type stuff, powerlifting, things like that. And I was working with some friends. We would work out every day and we would, do our own thing, powerlifting mainly, big weights. And he had a buddy in Houston that was going to a CrossFit gym, and he was just raving about it. This is probably back in 2011, kind of back when CrossFit really started to get big. And from what I knew about it, it was a lot of cardio stuff. And I'm like, not a cardio guy. I don't want to be out of breath and sweating. Like, that's for girls or whatever, And he just convinced me. He said, hey, my friend sent me these workouts to do. Let's try them out. So we tried them out. We would do our workout, and then at the end, we would do a CrossFit workout. Because you did it with us, so you can see the workout on there. And a lot of times, it'll look like, oh, well, that's easy. Like, that's not going to take any time at all. But it would just wipe me, like completely lay me out on the floor. And I kind of saw a benefit as far as efficiency goes. Like, you could go in there and you could really, within an hour or less, and just be completely hit everything, move towards your goals. I had plateaued on a couple of lifts, and when I started introducing CrossFit, it was just enough to sort of break me through that plateau and help me progress. And then I just kind of gradually started moving away from specialty type training and moving more toward a well-rounded total body functional fitness type program, which is what CrossFit is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long after that did you decide, hey, I want to open my own gym?
Well, that happened at spur of the moment. So I was training at a gym called Outlaw MMA. They were in a warehouse. Off of 65.
Yeah.
Stop or what?
No, we're good. Let's keep going.
Did I do that on accident?
Maybe. Doesn't matter. There we go. Technical difficulties.
Yeah. I have a standing desk, but it usually stays low. So got a really comfortable chair. At the MMA gym, mainly doing jiu-jitsu. I don't like getting hit in the face or anything like that. But they were trying to move away from their warehouse type location that had zero central heating and air. You're out in the elements for the most part. If it's raining, there's mosquitoes and everything. So they wanted a more commercial location. And they knew I did CrossFit. So they always called me CrossFit.
Okay.
And they said, hey man, why don't you open up a CrossFit gym so that we can move to this more commercial location over there by Fish River Grill 2, the one behind Walgreens. And I was already certified in, I was a CrossFit level 1 instructor at that time. All I needed to do was like fill out some paperwork, pay some money, and I could become a CrossFit affiliate. And about a week later, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll open it up. So we started with a few hundred square feet, a few $1,000s worth of equipment, and we just kind of grew from there. So started with 0 members, go to the parent watching their kids MMA and try to get them to come work out with me.
Okay.
And then kind of got the ball rolling from there.
Cool.
But while I was doing that, I did have a full-time job. So my family, my brother, my sister, my mom, we would all meet at my mom's house in the evening times and do CrossFit in the backyard. And, once we opened the gym, we kind of all did that at the gym. So I did have like a crowd that was there, but it was all my family. They're not paying me anything. But I worked for BIS, Philip Long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got a great company down there. He's a good friend of mine. I started working for him back in, I think, 2003.
Wow.
So doing IT work, things like that.
Okay.
So I would wake up in the morning, coach my morning CrossFit classes, go and work a 8 or 9 hour day or whatever they had for me. And then as soon as I get off, go do a couple of evening classes. And once it got to a point where it didn't fully replace my income from there, so I kind of took that leap and just said, all right, Philip, here's my 2 weeks, man. I'm going to try this gym thing out. And started off on my own and I winged it the entire time. I had no idea about running a business, no idea about marketing, no idea about sales. I'd never done marketing. I'd never done sales. I didn't even know that there was a difference between the two things. I didn't know what top line revenue was or gross income. I mean, it's all pretty basic stuff that you can figure out on the fly, but for the most part, it was just fly by the seat of my pants and kind of adjust as needed. But it all worked out. It's all working out.
Awesome.
So that was about 10 years ago. So
cool.
It was 10 years ago.
Well, congrats. Sometimes you got to just make that leap of faith and say, this is what I'm going to do. And, a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll jump out of a plane and, build a parachute on the way down. They say, you got to kind of just jump out there and do it sometimes.
Yeah, I really was not happy at my job. I love Philip. I love BIS. They got a great company. But sitting at a desk all day was just not my forte. It was not something I wanted to do. Some people are okay working for someone else, right? That's just their personality. I didn't have that personality. Matter of fact, Philip made me take a personality test a long time ago. And he was like, hey man, yours came out just like mine. So I was like, well, maybe I just need to work for myself. So a lot happier that way.
Yeah.
But the old adage, like, I'm tired of working 9 to 5, so I'm going to start my own business and work 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's kind of how it is. So it's a lot more work than you anticipate. And the numbers never really add up how you see them. At the beginning, you do that back of the napkin sort of math while you're, at a restaurant. You're like, okay, if I got this expense and this many people that charge this much, I'll make this much income, and that's what it's going to be. It's never that.
That's right.
There's always something you miss or don't think of. I guess that's why they have accountants.
That's right. That's right. What's the hardest workout you've ever done?
The hardest workout?
Yeah, CrossFit workout.
The hardest thing I've ever done was the rim to rim at the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So that was wake up early in the morning and we descended down the South Kaibab Trail. I think it's about 8,000 feet elevation. And then it's about 20 something miles through the canyon. It's about in the morning, it was probably about 60 degrees. We got down into the canyon for that 20-mile hike through the canyon to the north wall. It's like 20 something miles and it's about 100 degrees.
Wow.
And then it's about 10,000 foot of elevation, snaking back and forth. You've done box step-ups, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine doing 30-inch box step-ups for about 8 straight hours.
Wow.
You wanted to quit, but the only way out is if you call a helicopter to come get you out, because there's no other way to get out. And by the time you get to the top, there was snow on the top. So we had all that different type of climate. But that was the hardest thing I've ever done. CrossFit workouts, man, it just varies throughout the day, or, you know, from day to day. They're all relatively the same. You know, people think CrossFit is intense, super intense, and it is intense, but it's as intense as you make it.
Yeah.
You know,
but that, when I remember, you could scale it, so you could always scale back a little bit to your you know, skill level.
And the workouts have a time cap, so each class is an hour. So if you start and you know, let's say the time cap is 15 minutes. If you don't finish the work in 15 minutes, well, you're done. With the rim to rim, if you don't finish, there is no finishing. You have to finish, you know, and it's an all day event. So, CrossFit is challenging, but it's as challenging as you make it. But I would say probably the worst workout for me in CrossFit are the really short ones, the ones that take like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we call those redliners. Those are the ones where your heart goes from 0 to 180 beats, you know, and then you don't start sweating until you're done with the workout. You're laying there on the floor and then you just start pouring sweat and you're still gasping for air. So workouts like Fran, pull-ups and thrusters.
Nice.
So those short sprints, I hate those. It's the pressure you put on yourself because you're like, I gotta go fast. But there's no breaks here.
Yeah.
You know, those are the worst ones. I like the long grinder kind of workouts. You know, run a mile, do something else, run another mile, that sort of thing. The stuff that everybody else hates.
Gotcha.
But I used to be the opposite. I used to just love to lift. But as you get older, I guess you start to prioritize a little bit more of like the health aspect of things over the aesthetic aspect of things. So.
That's right. That's right. So you mentioned earlier about kind of learning some things along the way. You know, marketing, sales, top line, probably budgets, forecasts, stuff like that. What are some things you were to look back? Let's say you started 10 years ago knowing what you know now. What are some things you would have done a little bit differently?
That's a tough question because there's a lot. I mean, I could go on for hours.
Top 1 or 2 things.
Marketing.
I
would say when I started, you know, I had no idea about marketing or reaching your client avatar and what that person is. You know, for me, my client avatar was me, someone who loved CrossFit and already did CrossFit and all that stuff. And there's very few people out there like that. And the people that are like that, they don't want to pay for CrossFit because they can do it on their own, you know, for free. So I would say marketing. I see it all the time. I see CrossFit gyms pop up. And, you know, they call themselves, you know, some sort of like blood and puke CrossFit kind of thing. It's like, that's terrible marketing, right? You don't know who you're reaching. Like, you're going to have a handful of people that are going to gravitate toward that, and everybody else is going to be like, what the hell? Whoa. You know? Yeah. So the marketing aspect, we had shirts made, and I thought it was funny because, I don't know, whatever's funny to me, I'll do it. But on the back of our shirts, you know, was our logo, and then it said, a legal alternative to steroids or something like that. You know, I was like, all these other fake pill selling people, like they use that kind of crap. So I was like, I'll use it for something that's actually real. And, you know, it didn't really catch on. You know, my members thought it was funny.
Right.
They were like, yeah, I love those shirts. So we'll do a little throwback and we'll do some remakes of that slogan. But for the most part, it's marketing. And we do things a little bit different, but from when you were training with us. Okay. So you came in and you were just probably like, all right, jump into a class, that sort of thing. A couple of years ago, because we can now, we switched to a different type of onboarding methodology where, you know, if you want to start with us, you sit down and we talk to you about your goals. We learn about what you're wanting to achieve. That's great. And what you're hoping for. And that is really insightful because I hear the same exact thing from every single person. You know, there are some variations between it. Right. You know, some people might have, well, I got, you know, back pain or my knee hurts and I'm hoping this movement will help, like that sort of thing. But for the most part, it's people, I want to look better. I want to feel better. I want to feel confident when I take my shirt off or when I'm on the boat.
That's right.
Or something like that, or like, I get tired when I'm playing with my kid, like just getting up and down off the floor, and they can extrapolate out to the future and see like, well, in 10 years, it's going to be much worse.
That's right.
So they decide to do something about it. And that's the type of audience, right, or client avatar that we get. So that's the type of client avatar that I should have been marketing toward versus this, this hardcore sort of CrossFit type person that doesn't even really exist out here in most of the city of Foley anyway, for sure.
That's right.
If they already do that, they probably already have their own gym somewhere,
Yeah.
So definitely marketing and learning who my clientele was.
Nice.
Or should be, because ultimately we're trying to help people. So you got to meet them where they're at, No one has ever came to me, well, I can't say no one, maybe two. No one's ever like, hey, I'm interested in your gym. I want to be, some top athlete or go to the CrossFit Games,
Gotcha.
Which that's different than CrossFit. CrossFit Games and CrossFit, they're two different things.
Gotcha.
But no one's ever said that, It's always like just your typical, really more meaningful things, If you can help someone feel more confident and comfortable, giving people confidence is it's a great thing. It sucks to, be shy. Like, I don't know if I want to take my shirt off or, I hear it from guys. They go out with their girlfriends and they feel puny, and they feel like some guy might take their girl. they literally open up and they tell me these types of things.
Yeah.
And I get it,
Yeah, that's right.
And if he was a little bit more jacked, he would feel a little bit more comfortable, stepping away, I guess, or whatever, not going out and not feeling like, like he's like less than anybody else that's in the room,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cool. So going through being a small business owner, there's some times where you go through some peaks and some valleys and some high points and low points. So being in this business, you kind of worked through COVID. So I imagine that could have been a little bit challenging for you. And I think that most businesses that kind of worked and plowed through that came out stronger on the other end. So A, did you come out stronger? And B, what are some of the things you did to kind of plow through that period of time?
Our business was treated differently than other businesses. When you're a gym, was your business forced to close?
No.
So mine was.
No.
No government assistance, no PPP grant. That all went to businesses that were not forced to shut down.
Right.
People that were already loaded became even more loaded,
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to hate on them, but us people that own gyms, right, which is best for everybody that
Especially
does have
during a
COVID.
time like that,
Yeah, we already know that the fitter you are, the less likely COVID is going to kill you, right?
Yeah.
But they forced us to close our doors and change our entire business model. So we closed, and luckily, fortunately, we have the most awesome member base. Some of the best people in Baldwin County go to our gym. We did have some cancellations, and I saw over a 35% decrease in revenue in that first initial month when they made us close down. But we had members that stayed on. They were like, I'm going to pay because I love this place and we're going to keep it open. So, they forced us to close, but we wanted to do as much as we could with what we had. So my brother, who was working with me at the time, we did online Zoom fitness classes, basically.
Okay.
Not very many people showed up,
Right, I can imagine.
You're talking about we have 50, 60 people come through the gym in the day. For the online classes, we might have 5 or 6.
Okay, big difference.
Yeah, so big difference. So people weren't getting what they wanted to get, and we ended up opening up a little bit sooner than, what was her name, Kay Ivey, was going to allow us. So I don't want to get political about anything, whether you think we should close down companies or whatever.
I don't think we should ever shut down again. I think we learned a lot from what happened.
I certainly hope we don't. But politics and all that aside, we did open before they allowed us to, because our members were ready to come back. They were, if they're willing to risk getting COVID, then
that's right.
I'm going to open up. And
That's
we're going to go. So we did that, and we did claw our way back. Some positives that came out of that. I wasn't working as much, so I had to find other things to do. So I enrolled in some coaching, some business coaching type stuff.
Great.
And that's when we ended up making our shift to PT first gym versus a class, straight to class model, which is what we ran, which is what you were introduced to when you came. It's like, hey, Tim, we don't know anything about you. Here's a barbell. We're going to do 50 of these, right? I think we did a good job with that straight to class. Like, we still did a lot of education.
Oh, yeah.
But it restricted us in how much we could do in a class, because we had to spend the first half of class educating people on how to move correctly, and you're doing that in a group setting versus what we do now, which is PT first, so personal training first. So you have to go through personal training to learn how to move properly, and really just so that you're a little bit more confident and less intimidated when you do step into a class.
Gotcha.
Because we get that a lot. People are like, I have a gym membership, but I don't go because I feel like I look stupid because I don't know how to do all this
stuff.
Or
then maybe show up to one class and not feel to fit in, and then maybe not come to the second.
Right.
Yeah.
And with that straight to class model, you have to sell every member again, to come back the next day. And if you're a new person and it's some crazy day that we're doing where it's like some hot, super skilled gymnastics movement, and you can't even do a pull-up, but yet we're teaching, some higher level gymnastic thing, you show up that day and you're thinking, this is way out of my league, and you don't come back. When really, obviously, like, we can scale, we modify, we do things like that. So they didn't get that picture of CrossFit, the more accurate picture. So with the one-on-ones, we get to know the person a lot more. We do an assessment with everybody. It's more of a flexibility test, because we know that flexibility tests have predictive value as far as keeping someone free from injury. So it allows the coach to get to know the athlete a lot more, what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it just helps to educate that newer athlete, that new client, as to how things are going to work for them when they come in. And then whenever they do decide that they're ready to take a class, their coach will show up there with them to sort of hold their hand and make them feel more comfortable. So it's better for our coaches, because they now have a base level of knowledge that everybody in that class has, right? Yeah. It's not like, you probably wouldn't understand not coaching, but when you were coaching like straight to class and you get some brand new person, that's their first class and it's a highly technical day, well, that throws your whole rhythm off.
Yeah, you spend a little bit more time, which you should be, but the rest
the rest of the class gets neglected.
Yeah.
So it's better for the current members that we have, because now the coach can divide their time equally amongst everybody versus being focused on that newer person. And it's better for the newer person, because now they have a baseline of knowledge. They know a little bit more. They're a little bit more comfortable and confident in their movement. And, it's better for all three aspects, right? The coach, the class, and the new person.
All around.
Yeah. But it takes a certain level of skill, right? As far as to market that new thing and to sell that new thing. And that's what the continuing education stuff that I do, I branched away from. I'm always doing continual education as far as fitness and stuff goes.
Right.
But switching that away from fitness and more toward business has helped the gym tremendously.
That's awesome.
It's been quite a bit of an investment, but it's definitely paid off.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Great. So definitely came through something of a struggle, came out a lot stronger on the other end. I mentioned earlier we were Toastmasters together.
Yeah.
So being a business owner, leader, coach, how important is it to have public speaking skills and develop those? And not only that, but for anybody.
I think anytime you take something that you're scared of or intimidated by and you force yourself to do it, I mean, that is personal growth, right? Yeah. Staying in your comfort zone, you don't grow there, right?
Nope.
So for me, it's not that I do a ton of personal or public speaking. Although I do in class, you know, we got 15 people there, you're talking to all 15 people, but they're all your friends for the most part, you know, so it's a lot easier. So I don't do a lot of public speaking, but I do have the confidence to where I would not be intimidated if I had to get up in front of a stadium full of people and I had to talk. And that is all because of Toastmasters and working with all of y'all, you know. Yeah. So anytime or anything that you do that forces you to get out of your comfort zone, that's where you're going to experience the growth, you know. It's through the hardship, through the obstacle, right? The obstacle is the way, sort of deal. So yeah, it helped me tremendously as far as just personal growth, and when I had to do my own marketing, right? When I was the face of the business, I remember, I think I gave a speech about it. I went to a buddy of mine's little film studio that he had with a teleprompter, and I wrote a script for a video that I was going to shoot for an ad, and I was so nervous about it. And I ended up stopping at Winn-Dixie, and I bought those little cartons of wine, you know. Okay. And I was like, I got to get buzzed up before I step in front of it. And this was something, I'm going to shoot it, and I don't have to post it or show it to anyone. I'm there by myself, but I was still so nervous about it. So just getting over that helped me tremendously. So now if I need to shoot a Facebook ad or Instagram video or whatever, I can just kind of feel a lot more comfortable, confident with it, more comfortable. So
that's right. It's just like CrossFit. Anything you do in repeated action gains strength. So it's just like speaking. The more you speak, the more muscle memory you gain from it. Yeah. So that's what being an entrepreneur is all about, is stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone. Yeah. And taking it to the next level.
Communication with people too. Like communicating the thoughts that are in your head to the other person in a way that they can understand them the way that you want them to understand them is also very key. You know? And that's a big part about sales, is just it's having better conversations with people, deeper conversations, more meaningful stuff.
Well said. Well said. Very good. How can people get a hold of you?
You can go to our website, CrossFitStrongheart.com. You can go to our Facebook at CF Strongheart, CF. And then same as Instagram. I'll personally return your call.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And they're located right behind Dodge's. Mm-hmm. In
same
Foley.
Same road that Gelato Joe's is on.
Okay.
You just past Gelato Joe's.
All the way down.
All the way before it turns. Do your workout. Then you can stop at Joe's on the way back.
Okay.
Not feel so guilty about your gelato or whatever else you've been eating.
That's right. That's right. So one thing that I liked about CrossFit when I was doing it was quick 1 hour workout. I did like the 5 a.m. class. Quick 1 hour, you're on with your day. You didn't have to think about it. You go to Planet Fitness, you got to think about it. What am I going to work out? How many sets? How many people are doing? You know, they got all the deadlifts or whatever locked up. You can't do them. So that's what I loved about the class, was you kind of come in, you don't think about it. It's actually better if you come in half asleep and then kind of wake up through the class, because you're more likely to show up. But yeah, I think it's great. You guys inquire. You want to be more healthy, have more confidence.
It's a different business model than other gyms that are out there. Most people think of the gym and, you know, you pay a monthly membership to have access to a room full of equipment, basically, right? Yeah. We're different. You pay access to have a program, a plan, a coach, accountability, right? Somebody who notices when you don't show up, you know, who's calling you, there's a group of people when you're working out. So if you're not going as fast as you might think you should, looking at the person next to you is going to help provide that extra push. And the fact that you don't have to plan your own program or plan your own workout or wonder, all right, I went to the gym today. Did anything that I did that help me move toward the direction that I'm trying to go? You know, versus with us, you come in, you know that what you did is moving you in the right direction and towards your goal. So
absolutely,
it's different.
Cool. So definitely check out Andrew Waters, CrossFit Strongheart. thank you for coming on today.
Of course, man.
Awesome story. Appreciate you having me out.
Yeah, anytime.
Have a great day, guys.
Yeah.